Hello and welcome. My name is Raymond Ijeomah, and I'm a real estate entrepreneur as well as a property lawyer here in Nigeria. Now, very quickly, we've had part 1 and part 2 of this series. Basically, the land banking, the concept of land banking. In the first part, we generally talked about land banking, the importance of land banking, and everything around an introduction to land banking, why you should consider land banking, a number of things. And the second part, we talked about specific benefits of land banking, very specific direct benefits of land banking. That video has been a blessing to a lot of persons, and you could check it out. It is also right on this channel. We'll put a link to it in the description section of this particular video. Right? And in this particular part of the land banking series, we're going to talk about specific things you must look out for before you engage in land banking. Yes, the concept of land banking makes sense generally, but of course there are specific things you need to look out for so that you do it the right way, so that it makes sense, so that you do it well, and then you get the best dividend from it, right? It's not just enough to say, I want to do land banking. Rather, it is very important that you do it in a way that it makes sense, and then the purpose for which you are doing it is ultimately achieved. But that's what you're going to get in this particular video, and I urge you to watch it to the very end so that you won't miss out any of the very important details. All right, and this video is brought to you by Fortreal Rei Ltd, the real estate company registered here in Nigeria, and we are designed and committed, naturally designed to bring you nothing but the best of real estate investment opportunities, education on real estate, property law, and everything that will help you sustainably build wealth through real estate investment. We want to be part of that journey. That is why we do everything that we can to bring in nothing but the best of knowledge in real estate. All right, so let's go. The very first thing you must pay attention to before you ever engage directly in land banking is the location. Location is critical to land banking. Very sincerely, I'm going to say this as truthful as I can with it. If you decide to go and do land banking, okay, first, we already established that land banking is good generally. Secondly, we have also established that real estate investment is good generally. Everywhere you consider doing real estate or you do real estate, you are bound to get ultimate results. However, location differ from location. You don't have any business comparing the top 10 cities or the top 5 cities in Nigeria to your village or my village, right? You can't compare real estate investment in the top 5 cities in Nigeria or top 10 cities in Nigeria to, let me use my village so it doesn't look like I'm insulting you, right? All right, so you can't compare top 10 cities in Nigeria, or you can't compare real estate or real estate investment in the top 10 cities in Nigeria to a village in my town or in my state delta, right? So I'm using that to say that when you're looking at doing land banking, if you want returns at a faster level and possibly with more dividends, then you want to look at the location. I'm not going to call any name in this video. I'm not going to be specific any location in this video, but I'm sure you understand the point I'm trying to make. So the point is, some locations are better than some other locations. You will get faster results and better dividends in some locations as against others. However, the 5th point will explain why you can also do lesser locations or locations with lesser dividends or slower rates of returns as against higher rates, depending on the 5th point, right? So you watch the 5th point so that you get my explanation in that regard, right? So location is the first thing you must look out for, right? However, note and never forget that every city was once a bush, and every bush has the capacity and potential to become a city. However, the capacity and potential can be different based on the location. All right, so that's the first point you need to pay attention to. And the second thing you need to pay attention to when you want to engage in land banking is documentation. Documentation is another critical aspect of land banking. And by documentation, I mean the documents of the land, the title on the land. There are customary issues. Now, first, some persons, because land banking is the idea of doing land investment, real estate investment, not in developed areas, but developing areas, possibly areas that are far in the outskirts, right? So for some of these places, in some cities or some towns or some states, these locations are predominantly owned by the locals, customary people, communities, and all of that. So, as much as this is real, this is reality, you must find a way to bring in. This is the 21st century. I'm a lawyer and I understand the concepts of customary title and all of that. However, this is the 21st century and you must be smart in all your dealings because the document must always speak for itself. So in any way you choose to decide to consider land banking or engage in land banking, the priority always is to look out for documentation. Documentation that transfer title, documentation that proves that you're the owner, documentation or document that clearly states that interest moves from one person to another. And whilst you do so, you consider the customary issues, the customer statutory issues, and every other thing that relates to document. Whatever you do in all of this, ensure that there's a document to show for what you are doing. Right? So even if it's in the village, ensure that you have a property lawyer that knows and understands property transactions that can guide you in your interest. The third thing you want to consider is security. Security of the land itself. It's one thing to go and buy land in the bush or in the outskirts of a city. It's another for you to be able to secure that land, right? So some of the things you may want to possibly do extra is to have somebody look out for those lands for you. So if you have somebody who's around, you can give the land for somebody to farm, lease it out to somebody to farm on it, and then that also helps to keep possession. Possession is critical to real estate investment. When you buy a land, you should take possession. One of the things that show possession is possibly you survey. You can survey anywhere, even if it's in the bush. You can survey it, register it, lodge it. You can even get CFO for your land or right of occupancy depending on whatever or your location, right? So you can get a CFO on it and have it possess legal title, legal ownership, right? And then give it to somebody to farm if you can, fence it if you can. Just do anything that gives physical possession of the land and some form of security to the land. It's also very important that you consider this and put it in your budget. All right. The fourth thing you want to consider is your budget. Your budget. As much as investing in the outskirts sometimes may not, certainly is not the same amount as investing in developed areas. However, your budget is important because what you're looking at buying will determine how much you can get it, or how much you have will determine how much you can get. And I'm going to just tie it to the last point, which is the fifth one, and of course, which is your purpose, the reason you're buying it, the goal for which you're buying it. So in the second episode, we talked about specific benefits to land banking, and one of them is education. If you want to invest for educational purpose, right? So if you're looking at investing for educational purpose and you're looking at a 1 year period or a 2 years period, that's why I said I'm going to explain something. In that instance, you may not want to go to your village where you know that in 10 years time that land will not even add 10% appreciation. You will have to consider investing in somewhere that there is a fast rate of appreciation, right? I've seen practical instances where a land that was bought for land banking purposes had up to 100% appreciation, right, in 1 year, right? So you have to consider some of these factors, and then your budget also now matters, right? So you can be looking at buying, and of course, the more money you have to invest in land banking, the more you get, because somebody who has only a million naira can only possibly buy, say, 5 plots. But somebody who has up to 50 million naira to invest in land banking also may be able to buy up to 500 hectares, right? So the dividends from 500 hectares to 10 plots are not the same, right? So at the end of the day, is your budget. But of course, one thing is critical. Don't give any excuse. Do not give any excuse. If it's 500,000 you have, go for it. If it's 500 million you have, go for it. Whatever you do, whatever you have, what matters is that you are doing the right thing. And of course, in one of those episodes, I clearly stated that if you're looking at their low income earners, middle income earners, and the big guys, the top guys, if you're looking at moving from the low income to the middle income, then you may want to consider doing middle income moves. Right? So even though you are at the low income level, you may want to begin to do certain things that will help you go or climb to the middle income level. Right? So even if your income is around, and I think in one of my videos, I already clearly told you how even that was earning 40k as salary, I still was able to buy land that is worth more than my entire salary for a whole year. Right? So it is about what you are able to do with what you have at the moment. Right? So ladies and gentlemen, the idea of this particular video is just to give you hints of certain important things you need to look out for by experience that will help you invest safely and rightly even when you want to consider land banking. And of course, if there's anything that is missing, we'll definitely look out for it and also discuss it in one of our videos. But of course, you can also draw attention to any of them, ask questions in the comment section, or reach out to us through the numbers right on your screen, and we will be available to answer and respond to you. Or if you're looking at land banking opportunities in Nigeria, the numbers to reach out to are also right on your screen. We'll be available to respond to you and basically bring you or help you, serve you efficiently and most professionally, so that your investments are safe, profitable, and sustainable. Those three words are critical and very, very important to us. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, my name is Raymond Ijeomah. I'm a real estate entrepreneur as well as a property lawyer here in Nigeria. If you're yet to subscribe, it is very important you do so. This video and a lot of other videos that are going to come your way are very critical to your real estate investment journey in Nigeria. So why not subscribe and be in touch. Bye-bye.